The One-Year Bible, the Living Bible Paraphrased, July 9. 1 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 1 to chapter 8 verse 40. The sons of Issachar, Tola, Pua, Jashub, Shimron. The sons of Tola, each of whom was the head of a subclan: Uzai, Rephaiah, Jeriel, Jahmai, Ibsam, Shemuel. At the time of King David, the total number of men of war from these families was 22,600. Uzziah's son was Urzahiah, among whose 5 sons were Michael, Obadiah, Joel, and Ishai, all chiefs of subclans. Their descendants at the time of King David numbered 36,000 troops, for all 5 of them had several wives and many sons. The total number of men available for military service from all of the clans of the tribe of Issachar was 87,000 stout-hearted warriors, all included in the official genealogy. The sons of Benjamin were Bela, Becher, Jediel. The sons of Bela: Ezbon, Azai, Aziel, Jeremoth, Uri. These 5 mighty warriors were chiefs of subclans and were the leaders of 22,034 troops, all of whom were recorded in the official genealogies. The sons of Becher were Zim, Ira, Joash, Eliezer, Eli, Onai, Omri, Jeremoth, Abijah, Anathoth, Almemeth. At the time of David there were 20,200 mighty warriors among their descendants, and they were led by their clan chiefs. The son of Jediel was Bilhan. The sons of Bilhan were Jeush, Benjamin, Ehud, Chi, Neanah, Zethan, Tarshish, Ishahar. They were the chiefs of the subclans of Jediel, and their descendants included 17,200 warriors at the time of King David. The sons of were Shuppim and Huppim. Hushim was one of the sons of Aher. The sons of Naphtali, descendants of Jacob's wife Bilhah, were Zaziel, Gunai, Ezer, Shalom. The sons of Manasseh, born to his Armenian concubine, were Azrael and Machir, who became the father of Gilead. It was Machir who found wives for Huppim and Suppim. Machir's sister was Maacah. Another descendant was Zelophehad, who had only daughters. Machir's wife, also named Maacah, bore him a son who she named Peresh. His brother's name was Sheresh, and he had sons named Ulam and Rakem. Ulam's son was Bedan. So these were the sons of Gilead, the grandsons of Machir, the great-grandsons of Manasseh. Hammolecheth, Machir's sister, bore Ishdod, Abiezer, and Mela. The sons of Shemida were Ahian, Shechem, Likai, and Aniam. The sons of Ephraim: Shu, Helah, Bered, Tahath, Eladah, Tahath, Zabad, Shuth, Elah, Ezer, Eliad. Eliad and Ezer attempted to rustle cattle at Gath, but they were killed by the local farmers. Their father Ephraim mourned for them a long time, and his brothers tried to comfort him. Afterwards, his wife conceived and bore a son whom he called Beriah, meaning a tragedy because of what had happened. Ephraim's daughter's name was Shirah. She built Lower and Upper Bethhoron and Azen Shirah. This is Ephraim's line of descent. Rephaim, the father of Resh, Eph, the father of Tela, the father of Tahan, the father of Ladan, the father of Ammihud, the father of Elishama, the father of Nun, the father of Joseph, the father of Joshua. They lived in an area bounded on one side by Bethel and its surrounding towns, on the east by Naran, on the west by Gezer and its villages, and finally by Shechem and its surrounding villages, as far as Aya and its towns. The tribe of Manasseh, descendants of Joseph the son of Israel, controlled the following cities and their surrounding areas: Beth Shean, Taanach, Giddo, and Dor. Children of Asher: Imnah, Ishvi, Beriah, Sheva, their sister. The sons of Beriah were Heber, Malchiel, the father of Berzaiah. Heber's children were Japhlet, Shomer, Hatham, Shua, their sister. Japhlet's sons were Pashach, Bimhal, Ashbah. His brother Shomer's sons were Roga, Jehabah, Aram. The sons of his brother Hatham were Hopha, Imnah, Shelesh, Amal. The sons of Zophah were Shua, Har, Nepher, Shual, Beri, Imrah, Bezer, Hod, Shammah, Shilshah, Ithran, Beerah. The sons of Ithran were Jephunah, Pishpa, Arah. The sons of Ulah were Arah, Haniel, Rizaiah. These descendants of Asher were heads of subclans and were all skilled warriors and chiefs. Their descendants in the official genealogy numbered 36,000 men of war. The sons of Benjamin, according to age, were Bela the first, Ashbel the second, Arahah the third, Noah the fourth, Rapha the fifth. The sons of Bela were Adar, Gera, Abihud, Abishua, Naaman, Ahoah, Gera, Zephunaphan, Huram. The sons of Ehud, chiefs of the subclans living at Geba, were captured in war and exiled to Manahath. They were Naaman, Ahijah, Gera, also called Hegalam, the father of Azah and Ahiud. Shaharaim divorced his wives Hushim and Beerah, but he had children in the land of Moab by Hodesh, his new wife, Jobab, Zibiah, Misha, Malcham, Jeuz, Sakiah, Mirma. These sons all became chiefs of subclans. His wife Hushim had borne him Ahitub and Elpaal. The sons of Elpaal were Eber, Mushem, Shemed, who built Ono and Lod and their surrounding villages. His other sons were Beriah and Shema, chiefs of the subclans living in Ajalon. They chased out the inhabitants of Gath. Alpal's sons also included Ahio, Shashak, Jerimoth. The sons of Beriah were Zebediah, Arad, Eder, Michael, Ishpa, Joah. The sons of Alpal were included Zebadiah, Mushla, Mushlulam, Hizkai, Heber, Ishmerai, Isliah, Jobab. The sons of Shimei were Jachem, Zikri, Zabdi, Eleni, Zilithai, Eliel, Ad, Aiah, Ben Ariah, Shimrath. The sons of Shashak were Ishpan, Eber, Eliel, Abdon, Zikri, Hanan, Hananiah, Elam, Anathoth, Edja, Iphthiah, Penuel. The sons of Joram were Shemshirai, Shehariah, Athaliah, Jearishiah, Elijah, Zitri. These were the chiefs of the subclans living at Jerusalem. Jeiel, the father of Gibeon, lived at Gibeon, and his wife's name was Maacah. His oldest son was named Abdon, followed by Zur, Kish, Baal, Nadab, Gedor, Ahio, Zechar, Mikloth, who was the father of Shimea. All of these families lived together near Jerusalem. Ner was the father of Kish, and Kish was the father of Saul. Saul's sons included Jonathan, Malchi, Shua, Abinadab, Eshbaal. The son of Jonathan was Mephibosheth. The son of Mephibosheth was Micah. The sons of Micah, Pithon, Melech, Tariah, Ahaz. Ahaz was the father of Jehoiada. Jehoiada was the father of Ahimath. Asmaveth. Jehoiada was the father of Alimeth, Asmaveth, Zimri, and Zimri. Zimri's son was Moza. Moza was the father of Biniah, whose sons were Rapha, Asha, Azel. Azel had 6 sons: Azrikam, Bach, Eru, Ishmael, Ariah, Obadiah, Hanan. Azel's brother Ishak had 3 sons: Ulam the first, Jeush the second, Eliphet the third. Elam's sons were prominent warriors who were expert marksmen with their bows. These men had 150 sons and grandsons, and they were all from the tribe of Benjamin. Acts chapter 27, verses 1 through 20. Arrangements were finally made to start us out on our way to Rome by ship. So Paul and several other prisoners were placed in the custody of an officer named Julius, a member of the imperial guard. We left on a boat that was scheduled to make several stops along the Turkish coast. I should add that Aristarchus, a Greek from Thessalonica, was with us. The next day when we docked at Sidon, Julius was very kind to Paul and let him go ashore to visit with friends and receive their hospitality. Putting to sea from there, we encountered headwinds that made it difficult to keep the ship on course, so we sailed north of Cyprus between the island and the mainland, and passed along the coast of the provinces of Cilicia and Pamphylia, landing at Myra in the province of Lycia. There our officer found an Egyptian ship from Alexandria bound for Italy and put us aboard. We had several days of rough sailing, and finally neared Sindus, but the winds had become too strong, so we ran across to Crete, passing the port of Salome. Beating into the wind with great difficulty and moving slowly along the southern coast, we arrived at Fair Havens, near the city of Lacia. There we stayed for several days. The weather was becoming dangerous for long voyages by then because it was late in the year, and Paul spoke to the ship's officers about it. "Sirs," he said, "I believe there is trouble ahead if we go on, perhaps shipwreck, loss of cargo, injuries, and death." But the officers in charge of the prisoners listened more to the ship's captain and the owner than to Paul. And since Fair Havens was an exposed harbor, a poor place to spend the winter in, most of the crew advised trying to go further up the coast of Phoenix in order to winter there. Phoenix was a good harbor with only a northwest and southwest exposure. Just then a light wind began blowing from the south, and it looked like a perfect day for the trip, so they pulled up anchor and sailed along close to shore. But shortly afterwards the weather changed abruptly, and a heavy wind, of typhoon strength, a nor'easter they called it, caught the ship and blew it out to sea. They tried at first to face back to shore, but couldn't, so they gave up and let the ship run before the gale. We finally sailed behind a small island named Clauda, where with great difficulty we hoisted aboard the lifeboat that was being towed behind us, and then banded the ship with ropes to strengthen the hull. The sailors were afraid of being driven across to the quicksands of the African coast, so they lowered the topsails and were thus driven before the wind. The next day, as the seas grew higher, the crew began throwing the cargo overboard. The following day they threw out the tackle and anything else they could lay their hands on. The terrible storm raged unabated many days, until at last all hope was gone. Psalm 7 verses 1 through 17. I am depending on you, O Lord my God, to save me from my persecutors. Don't let them pounce upon me as a lion would, and maul me, and drag me away with no one to rescue me. It would be different, Lord, if I were doing evil things, if I were paying back evil for good, or unjustly attacking those I dislike. Then it would be right for you to let my enemies destroy me, crush me to the ground, and trample my life in the dust. But Lord, arise in anger against the anger of my enemies. Awake, demand justice for me, Lord. Gather all peoples before you. Sit high above them, judging their sins. But justify me publicly. Establish my honor and truth before them all. End all wickedness, O Lord, and bless all who truly worship God. For you, the righteous God, look deep within the hearts of men and examine all their motives and their thoughts. God is my shield. He will defend me. He saves those whose hands and lives are true and right. God is a judge who is perfectly fair, and he is angry with the wicked every day. Unless they repent, he will sharpen his sword and slay them. He has bent and strung his bow and fitted it with deadly arrows made from shafts of fire. The wicked man conceives an evil plot, labors with its dark details, and brings to birth his treachery and lies. Let him fall into his own trap. May the violence he plans for others boomerang upon himself. Let him die. Oh, how grateful and thankful I am to the Lord because he is so good. I will sing praise to the name of the Lord, who is above all lords. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 22. The man who finds a wife finds a good thing. She is a blessing to him from the Lord.